Hi, this is Tony of TC Dog Training, and we're just going to go through my 3-point whistle recall plan. So using a whistle cuts through the noise of the park. It's a very specific sound, so the dog often responds to it better than your voice. Ideally, this is the sort of thing we want.
Good boy, what a clever boy.
So that's the final behaviour, the dog racing back to us. What we do need to begin with is a gun dog whistle. Let's slice some hot dogs up and let's have a treat bag as well. Try and use something your dog's never tasted before. So if they've not had hot dogs, try hot dogs, maybe low fat cheese, perhaps liver cake, but something novel that they've never tasted. Stage 1 is the conditioning, so simply pip the whistle and find the dog's mouth. That's all you have to do. You can do this randomly indoors, you can do it during walks, and generally when the dog is wearing his lead. The idea is for one pip of the whistle, one pip, and then find the mouth with the novel food. So stage 2 is the second week, and what we're doing now is adding a little bit of distance. So still with the dog on lead, you're going to pip your whistle once and maybe take a step away from your dog, allow him to come to you. So here's some examples. So stage 2, we're not asking for a massive distance recall, we're simply pipping the whistle once, perhaps stepping back. You can do this whilst you're walking your dog. You can again do it in the park if you wish, but keep the dog on the lead at the moment. We're not after a big long distance recall. And what this does, it just gets your dog used to being in front of you to collect a tasty reward. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm pipping the whistle and I'm walking backwards. I'm allowing the dog to come to me. It's building up a little bit of muscle memory and getting them used to travelling a few steps to actually get to me and to get to the good stuff. So I'm simply walking backwards after pipping the whistle. So stage 3, week 3, we're now introducing a long line. Now for long line safety, please refer to my other video regarding long lines. They're great fun, they're good to use, but they can be dangerous if used wrongly. So a slight difference now for week 3, we've got our long line. Also we're now going to pip the whistle 3 times. It can be as many times as it takes for your dog to actually prick his ears up and come towards you, but generally 3 pips is enough. So what I'm doing now is letting Motley have a little sniff around, and occasionally I'm going to pip the whistle 3 times, allow him to come back to me, he's going to get the goodies, and then I'm going to release him back to have another sniff. When this starts to occur and your dog does turn around and come back to you, you can allow the long line to trail.
Good.
With the training long line, if your dog does bolt, you can always put your foot on the long line, but I would recommend using a harness. That will protect your dog's neck. A little tip there, drop the hot dogs down between your feet and touch the collar or the harness at the same time. The dog then has a great association of having his collar touched. A lot of dogs shy away from having their collar touched. We want it to be a good association, so collar touch equals the good stuff. So week 4, off the long line, you can now start calling him back, touch his collar and reward him. So generally it's 3 pips, but if it takes 5 pips, 6 pips, then don't worry too much about it. At some point your dog will hear them and come running back. Okay, so we're on week 4 now. Dog's off lead, but don't forget we're still training. And like any training, you have to build up the distractions slowly. So to begin with, you'd practice this in a nice quiet remote field perhaps, and then maybe with 1 or 2 dogs around. Don't expect this to work in a field full of dogs initially. So any distractions that we think are distracting for the dog, they are attractive, they're attractions. So bear that in mind when training. We build up the recall very slowly for one reason, because we want the dog to succeed. If we start blowing the whistle and the dog ignores it, he's then learning to ignore it and it loses its value. So certainly when training, always set the dog up for success and gradually build the situation up to how you want it to be at the end. So week 4 now, we've built this recall up very slowly. Week 1 was purely conditioning. We're pairing up the whistle to some yummy novel food. Week 2, we're stepping back a few steps and allowing the dog to come to us for the yummy food. And week 3, we've got the dog on a long line, so we've increased the distance quite considerably. Week 4, dog is off the long line and no distractions, and you're gradually building up the distractions. And don't forget, a good whistle recall isn't just used for the field. Your dog's in the garden, let's get your dog back into the kitchen.